What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the German Bear Podcast. And today I want to talk about one of the most underrated players on the Bears roster right now, a guy that plays on an all-pro level for the past couple of weeks and saved the day against the Las Vegas Raiders on defense for the Bears. Today we want to talk about Kevin Byard. And in times where you see no exit and you're grasping for hope, someone needs to step up if you want to survive. And that was the motto for the Chicago Bears defense. And the guy that was saving them was defensive captain, Safety Kevin Byard. And the veteran is playing on a very high level right now, and the Bears defense is expected to regain a couple of key pieces prior to their Week 6 matchup against the Washington Commanders. Because the current state of the defense is really tough. Obviously, Jalen Johnson is going to be out for a longer time, which is not great, but there's also other players that we're missing. Now, for a couple of players that are looking to return real quick, Austin Booker, who was on IR, is hopefully going to be activated by the time this video goes out to you guys. It's a little bit pre-recorded, so I don't know what's going to happen. TJ Edwards is looking to return. Kyler Gordon is looking and trending up, and then Grady Jarrett, I don't know too much, is hopefully going to be back as well. So the Bears should be in a better shape come Week 6. But like I said in the intro, you have to have a guy that steps up in situations where you don't see hope, and that was Kevin Byard for the Bears, and he's playing on a great level right now. So today we're going to get into the All-22 for him against the Las Vegas Raiders in Week 4 of the regular season and dive deep into his tape, why he was such a crucial part and what he did so well to just overtake that game by himself. Now, before we want to do that, real quick, for his stats against the Raiders, he had 7 tackles, 1 TFL, and 2 interceptions against the Raiders, and played 41 snaps at free safety, so deep in the backfield of the secondary, 8 snaps in the box, and 3 snaps in the slot. Now, if we want to look at his performance in coverage, he was targeted on 3 passes by Geno Smith, allowed 2 receptions for 16 yards. Now, how that's being charted, that doesn't really add up to the 2 interceptions, right? So we just have to live with it. 2 receptions for 16 yards allowed on paper. And then he had a passer rating, NFL passer rating, allowed a 40.3, which is elite. And he had 1 missed tackle in that game. So today we want to take a look at, in the All-22 film room, how Kevin Byard dominated in Week 4 and how he won that game for the Bears almost by himself on defense. So, 2 interception day for Kevin Byard. We want to start off, obviously, with his coverage ability. And what I saw on tape for the 32-year-old veteran was definitely that he still has very fluid hips in coverage, has great timing, and can break on a dime. He can break really quickly and make a move on the ball. That was great to see on tape. I think he displayed great range and also tackling ability in coverage against the Las Vegas Raiders in Week 4. And if you just let him roam around in the backfield, still at 32 years old, he's very much capable of doing so, and he showed it in that game against a solid skills core for the Raiders. Also, he had 1 good man coverage rep against Brock Bowers. Now, Brock Bowers is a little bit banged up, so it's not a fully healthy Brock Bowers, but he was still able to stay with him in man coverage. And then also he showed the smarts and the intelligence that we're used to from him in zone coverage. And that's what we want to talk about now with his 2 interceptions. So starting off with Kevin's first interception, what is happening here on this play? The Raiders on offense are in a trips right formation, or at least that's what I call it, with the tight end on the single side attached to the offensive line, and they're running a variation of dagger. So the dagger concept is for them, the number 2 and number 3 running a vertical component, the number 3 and the number 2 receiver is running a dig route right behind it, and that vertical component is supposed to clear out the dig right underneath of him. Okay, and then you have the Z receiver, or whatever it's called in their system, the number 1 receiver motioning in at the beginning and crossing around the field, also having a second vertical component, and their tight end Brock Bowers is running a drag route across the field. And the Chicago Bears matched that with a 3 down lineman front in a cover 3 cloud situation. Cloud meaning the cornerback stays in the flats in that case Tyreek Stevenson. They have a really cool way of running it here with Nick McLeod, the nickel, going back and playing that deep third, so Jaquan Brisker can blitz on that play. And then for the rest of the defense, you have Kevin Byard playing a deep third, the middle deep third, and then also Nashawn Wright playing the last third. And then the underneath coverage hook to curls is going to be played by Tremaine Edmonds and Noah Sewell. Jonathan Owens plays one of the flats, and then, like I said, the cloud coverage, Tyreek Stevenson as well. And that dagger concept is not too bad of a call here by Chip Kelly. It's just the fact that we have an absolute ball hawk of a safety in Kevin Byard, who is just better than the concept. And as we see here right now, the number 2 going vertical, Kevin Byard sees that and knows what it's coming. That's also a homage to the Chicago Bears scouting this week, just knowing what's going to come and that they love the dagger concept for the Raiders offense. And what Kevin Byard here does is he travels with that vertical clear route for a couple of steps to make Geno Smith comfortable to throw that dagger, that deep dig to Jakobi Meyers. And he gets his eyes on the number 3 receiver, the most outside receiver, which is in that case now Jakobi Meyers, breaks it and has perfect timing on that ball and picks it off. It's just a display of baiting a quarterback into a throw. It's not necessarily even his responsibility, right? That deep clear out should carry with Kevin Byard to free up that dagger, that dig right underneath, but doesn't happen with him, man. He was scouting, he was prepared for it, and baited Geno Smith perfectly to make that throw and picks it off with a great catch. And if we want to talk about an even better play, perfect timing and picking the ball off, we're looking now at his second interception, which is a very similar situation, but a little bit different as well. Almost the exact same conditions though here. So what has changed for the Vegas offense right here, they're now in Trey Wright with a single side receiver split out wide. And now you have Brock Bowers, the tight end, instead of on the single side, involved in the 3-by-1 side. So I call that formation Trey to the right. The tight end is on the right. And they're running a variation of dagger. Once again, you have the vertical component from the number 2 receiver stretching the field. And then the most outside receiver, the number 1 receiver, is running a dig right underneath of that. And then this time they have Brock Bowers running a hitch, just replacing the 2 vertical components here, sitting right there in the hook to curl zone. And then on the single side you have a deep out that's going to be taken away. And for the Chicago Bears, they run the exact same coverage. Once again, cover 3 cloud with the nickel dropping into a deep third. Nick McLeod here in that sense. The only difference is now they're in a 4-2 with 4 true down linemen rushing those 4, and then you have Sewell and Edmonds. Edmonds playing the flats here, and Sewell playing the hook to curl. You got Brisker, who's walked up, who's playing now hook to curl, and Tyreek Stevenson, cloud coverage, once again plays the flats on the 3-by-1 side. And for Kevin Byard, it's the same bait, but even better, because this time Kevin Byard has his eyes to the 3-by-1 side, opens up to that 3-by-1 side, which allows him to have his eyes on their number 1 receiver, who's then running that dig route. And again, same scenario, he identifies that deep clear route that is supposed to carry him deep, and then to ultimately sell Geno Smith with going with that clear route, he opens up to that clear, to that deep go route by that number 2 receiver to bait Geno again. And of course, he falls for it once again as well. And there you just see the range of Kevin Byard making up ground, having perfect timing, reading Geno like a book, baiting him again into the same throw that he did a couple of drives earlier, and makes an incredible catch right here to gain back the possession for the Chicago Bears offense. And once again, it's just an homage to the Chicago Bears scouting that week, to a veteran captain on defense that just took over that game in coverage and baited a veteran quarterback into 2 throws that he definitely wants to have back with great plays, good eyes, and just trusting his instincts. I absolutely love it. And now for the second category of today's video, we still also have to look at the run defense for Kevin Byard. And I think he had overall a very good game in the run game as well. I think a couple of pros I want to mention today is, first of all, he's a very solid tackler. And I don't want to do it, guys, but if we're looking back into the days where Eddie Jackson was the free safety for the Chicago Bears, that was definitely an issue. So Kevin Byard is much better at that. He saved the Bears a couple of times this game by preventing home run rushes by the Raiders offense running backs. I know he had one missed tackle on Ashton Jeanty, who broke one deep, but I mean, that's okay. You can miss that once in that game against Ashton Jeanty, who's just a bell cow of a back and just a true monster on the field, and he's not easy to bring down. But there's also multiple times where he helped the team to hold teams to a field goal by making very solid tackles after the Bears front seven was not able to make a tackle. Yes, it's a big yardage gain, but at least he made the tackle to prevent them from a touchdown, and then the Bears defense got off the field with only a field goal allowed multiple times. So that was also a key aspect of why he was a game changer in this game for the Bears defense. And then speaking of changing a game even more, we're now going to talk about the 3rd and 2 that seals the game and is his biggest contribution to the run defense in this game overall. And this is a key point of the game, right? The Chicago Bears get a stop here. It's a long field goal for the Raiders. They make it. The offense has more time to maybe get into field goal range again, so you give them a chance to still win the game. And if they miss that field goal, you obviously win the game automatically. But if you do not get the stop, you lose that game very probably, right? They get into better field position, they can run down the clock, and then get an easier field goal going for their good place kicker. So this is the key moment of this game, and let's break down what happens right here. So what happens for the Las Vegas Raiders offense is that they are in a bunch left formation, trips bunch left formation here to be exact. So trips once again means the Y, the single side tight end, is attached to the offensive line right here, and they're trying to just power run against the Chicago Bears. They're running tackle power left, so number 71, the right tackle, is pulling on this play. Everybody's down blocking on Andrew Billings, Javon Dexter, and then also Brock Bowers is staying in to block Montez Sweat. You got the kick out block by the left tackle on Dayo Odangbo, and then the pull through, leaving alone Shamar Turner for the right tackle, and he's going to pick that up. And if we're doing the numbers game right here, you got 8 people in the box for the Chicago Bears against 6 people by the Las Vegas Raiders, plus their running back Ashton Jeanty. Now, if you do the math and do the calculation, I think we're not going to consider Jaquan Brisker on this play. Yes, he is technically in the box just outside of the tight end, but he's going to play a potential read here, which they're not doing. They're just running straight power, no read by Geno Smith, but he's playing the potential pull by Geno Smith, so he is out of that play anyways. So if we're doing the math now, calculating 7 minus 6 during that subtraction, we're ending up with one unblocked player for the Chicago Bears defense that can make that play. 2 options on the table: touchdown or a stop. No in between here. And guess who that player is? Guess who the Bears trust here in that situation against a young star running back, Kevin Byard. Rookie against the vet, superstar against captain, in the hole, one-on-one. It doesn't get more intense than that. And if we're going to look at what actually happens, I think the offensive line for the Las Vegas Raiders does a pretty good job, right? They're all down blocking on this play. Got the pull around by number 71. He picks up Shamar Turner, gets him to turn inside and wins outside, which is a pretty big win for him right here. And that opens up that possibility of that play happening just how I described it. Kevin Byard one-on-one against Ashton Jeanty, and look what happens. Lowest man wins, rule number 1 in defensive football, and that is Kevin Byard right here on this play, making a crucial tackle, stopping them on 3rd down, forcing them to kick a long field goal. Josh Blackwell gets onto the field, blocks it, and the rest is history. The Bears win. So overall, what a great, impactful, and just elite performance by Bears safety veteran and captain. I can say just once again, Captain Kevin Byard. That's why he is a captain, stepping up in the big moments, leading his players on the field, and also making sure that his players are stepping up respectively as well. We're looking at it with Tyreek Stevenson. He's playing outstanding right now, and he said it in the podcast himself. He's just playing up to Kevin Byard's level. He's feasting off of that energy, and that's what the Chicago Bears needed during this rough stretch of this season with so many injuries on defense, but also moving forward. That's a guy players are looking up to, and he's going to bring up that energy on defense no matter what the score is. So with that being said, guys, that's the end of today's episode. I had so much fun talking about Kevin Byard, an absolute dog at safety for the Chicago Bears, played at an elite level, almost an all-pro level, I would say, over the last 2 weeks, and I just can't wait and see how he continues playing throughout this entire season in Dennis Allen's system. So please feel free to interact and just leave a comment down below in the comment section talking about Kevin Byard. What do you think, how he performed in week 4 against the Las Vegas Raiders? Also, do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It's completely free and helps me out to make these videos. And I'll see you guys in the next episode, probably talking about the Bears Commanders game. And as always, guys, bear down.